Live from the Jockey Club racetrack in who knows where, United States. Brian Martin with you on a snowy Friday morning here in the Midwest. I have a day off, and I thought, what better way to spend part of the day off than to do a demonstration of PLAAY Games' latest Christmas bonus game called PLAAY at the Races. Why do I say Christmas bonus game? Because every year around Black Friday, PLAAY Games has an annual sale. Part of that sale is that Keith Avalone, the designer, owner, founder of PLAAY Games, has created a new game in the last X number of months or years that he's unveiling for the first time as a new offering. It's always done as a print and play so that the price point is low enough that anybody that's interested can buy it. And depending on the reaction he gets from it, not just the critical comments, but the sales of it, and the requests for people after the sale is over when they've missed out on the sale of when is this available, he may actually take what he has, which are all components that are already designed, and turn them into a print game with a box and all that stuff that you can buy and have all the physical components ready for you as opposed to doing them yourself. So this game was sold this past November of 2025 as a print and play game. I have digitized it. The helper you see on the screen is my digitizing of the game. It can't be shared because it has all of the charts and tables that allow the game to work. And I can't even show you those pages because there aren't many charts, but they all fit in one screen, and I don't want to violate copyrights or Keith's trust or his friendship, and so this can't be shared. And I apologize to those of you who are going to be disappointed in that. But this is just for me to be able to show you on screen without my having to move my hands around and move horses on the table. This is just a digital table that I'm using, and we'll go with that. So this is not going to be like a simulcast of a race. I'm not going to announce it like a race. I'm going to walk through all of the phases of this game. It's a 5-furlong game, so we're going to have 6 turns in the game. The first turn we'll get to in a minute, and then 5 furlongs of actual racing. So we've picked the horses. They're over here on the left-hand side. Balanced Blade is in the pole position, number 1, followed by Indigo Streak, Main Squeeze, Solid Logic, Evening Hush, Bit Rate, Short Circuit, and Carbon Pulse. And the first part of the game is the out of the gate phase. All of the horses in your race have a go rating. That go rating, there are 2 of them. There's a sprint rating and a stamina rating. Out of the gate, we use the sprint rating, and a horse that rolls less than or equal to that rating will have an advantage in getting out of the gate. The ones that fail are at a disadvantage. So instead of rolling them individually, I'm just going to roll them all once. I have a little button, if you can't read, it says "and they're off." And all the ones that are green are ones that have won their go challenge, and therefore they have an advantage in the upcoming gate phase. And the white ones are at a disadvantage. What does the advantage mean? It means that the green horses, we will start with pole position 1, work our way all the way through pole position 8. They will be placed onto the starting grid differently than the white horses. I'll show you that in a minute. Any horse that starts in the post position, you'll notice here there's a bunch of colors. That's the horse's natural gate color: gold, silver, bronze. Gold better than silver, better than bronze. Excuse me. For the horse in the first position, regardless of what their card says, they are gold. And that gold allows them to, gives them an absolutely great advantage coming out of the gate. So Balanced Blade says bronze, but he's gold. So Balanced Blade will automatically go in to the first position. He is along the rail, has the best position starting out of the gate. Indigo Streak failed. Any horse that fails, even the gold horse, any horse that fails automatically goes to the furthest spot away from the lead. Main Squeeze failed and goes to the furthest spot from the lead that's open. Solid Logic is a silver horse and gets the first open silver slot. Evening Hush also drops to the back of the pack. Bit rate, short circuit, and carbon pulse are all bronze, but it goes bit rate into the first position, short circuit into the second position, and carbon pulse into the third position. And then if this were on the track, we just would move bit rate up a spot, short circuit. I would fill in the gaps. I've got a button here that does it for me. And as we can see, that is how the horses have broken from the gate. That's the first official turn of the game. But we're really looking at that first, maybe out of 660 feet. We're looking at maybe the first 100 to 200 feet of action coming out of the gate. So not a full furlong. Balance blade is in the lead along the rail, followed by solid logic, bit rate, short circuit, carbon pulse, evening hush, main squeeze, and indigo streak. The next phase of the game is what's called setting the shape of the race, the pace of the race, or the shape of the race. It's chips being awarded. Chips are used as currency to alter the outcomes of different things that happen during the horse race. So in this case, we start with the leader. If the leader is a front runner and he's not, he gets a chip. So balance blade does not get a chip. We go to the front group. That's this silver group here. Solid logic and bit rate. If either one of them is a front runner or a stalker, they get a chip. Bit rate will get a chip. The middle group is the brown group. If they are middlers, they get a chip. And then we look at fourth place. If the fourth place chip horse doesn't already have a chip, but is a stalker, he gets a chip. So right now, only one horse, that's bit rate, gets the chip coming out of the gate as we go to the first furlong. So I've got it a furlong button. There's charts that determine whether the race is the furlong is a sprint furlong or a stamina furlong, and it's dictated by the track. The track is slow. The original role was that the track was normal, but because balance blade is a closer, he increases the value or decreases the speed of the track to slow. That means there's a row on a table for the furlong chart that determines which furlong it is, sprint or stamina. We're using the slow row of that chart to determine the outcome. So we go to the first furlong, and we find that the front and middle groups are affected. So you always find out what group is affected. It can be all groups, or front and middle and back, or just any one of the three groups. The leader is not a group. The leader can never challenge and can only be challenged. Front and middle groups and speed. So if we look at the groups here, all these four horses, all in blue here, means that they match. They all have the speed thing. Evening Hush does not. Evening Hush cannot participate in this turn. Balance Blade as the leader will be challenged. Maybe once, maybe twice, we'll find out. Because we're going to be able to use a special rule, which we'll get to in a moment, because two groups are involved in this challenge. We start with the group furthest from the back, and we start with the horse furthest from the lead. That's Carbon Pulse. He's in blue. A challenge is made between a horse who targets a horse in the group in front of it and then rolls to see if the horse responds to that challenge. The horse being challenged then defends itself to react to determine whether they hold off the challenge or whether they lose, and then they switch places with that horse on the grid. So Carbon Pulse rolls. The target is 6. If we look, he's going to target the group in front of him. He's not going to target his teammates here. He's going to target the group in front of him, and you'll see that 6 is within the range of 3 to 6, so he's targeting bit rate, the third place horse, who has a chip. That may be important in a moment. There are two sets of results here. We are only for the attacking horse, we look at the red result here. And the die roll is a 3, and his jockey, Gary Reed, has an ask of 4, which means that's his attack rating. The dice roll is less than or equal to 4. The horse is responding. The horse is moving up. They've passed Carbon Pulse, passed Short Circuit, and now they're looking to pass Bit Rate to move into third place. So he's ready to go. Now Bit Rate has to defend, so we'll click his button, and we're looking at this blue group here. He has a fend of 4. That is taking the fend rating from the horse's card and adding 1 because he is in second or third place. So he has a natural 3. Very strong defensive horse. We'll see if that works. If the dice roll that's made is less than or greater than the fend number, then the horse fails the challenge. And that means you have a yes here and a yes here. And only when these are yes, yes, is there a pass. But there's a no. Carbon Pulse does not pass. If Carbon Pulse had a chip, he could change that outcome. He does not, so he's done for this turn. We now move to Short Circuit. Short Circuit is targeting position 4, which just happens to be third place again. It's bit rate. The ask is 3, but the dice roll is 4, and Short Circuit can't move. The horse doesn't respond, and he has no chip to make the horse respond, and so Short Circuit's turn is done. I'm going to give you the special rule that comes into play with two groups now. It didn't happen, but it could have. If the horse in the group behind actually moves up, when that group then is activated, you activate one group at a time from back to front. When that group is activated and they're in that group, they activate a second time and can make a second pass. It's a pretty cool rule. So you can go from the back to the front group or the middle group to the lead in one single furlong turn. Those are kind of fun turns to have. They don't happen often, but when they do, it really mixes up the field and it's kind of fun. So Short Circuit did not get to even move. Now we go to the front group. They can only challenge the leader. That's why his target is 1 to 6. So we'll show you the target number, but it won't matter. Bit rate starts because he's furthest from the lead. The target is 5, which of course is the leader. His ask is 5. His jockey, Tyler Espinoza, has a 5. Roll to 2. Bit rate is responding to the challenge, and now Balance Blade has to defend, so he will click. His fend rating is 3. He rolled a 1. He defends. He says, no, no, Bit rate, stay, back, back. But Bit rate has the one thing that Balance Blade does not. He has a chip, and that chip allows Bit rate to change this dice roll of 1 into a 6 or whatever dice roll he needs to get above 3 and change that no to a yes. When you're playing solo, there are guidelines that are used to tell you when chips are spent. They're automatically spent. And we're playing solo, so the rule says bit rate has to spend that chip to reverse that result. So we take the chip away from bit rate, and as a result, bit rate now can move into first place. Balanced Blade moves down, and his thing is blacked out because it's a reminder that he's done. He's not doing anything. Now Solid Logic gets their turn to attack bit rate, but bit rate now no longer has his chip, so he can't change the universe. Solid Logic, target again is the number 1 horse. He rolled a 5, needed a 4 or less. He cannot do anything, and because he doesn't have a chip to change the outcome, he's stuck in second place, and we move to the next furlong as bit rate has come up on the outside and moved up 2 places and is currently in the lead on the second furlong of a 5-furlong race. This is a sprint furlong. The back group will challenge, and only the horses in the back with the burst quality, which is Indigo Streak, may challenge. This is a one-group challenge, so the best Indigo Streak can do is move up into the middle group. So again, clicks. He's targeting the horse in the 5 spot, which is this 6th place horse, Evening Hush. Rolled a 2, needed 2 or 4 or less, so he's a yes. Evening Hush will defend. He needed to roll a 1. He rolled a 2, so yes, yes means that Indigo Streak moves up to 6th place, and that's it. That furlong is done. Some furlongs, nothing happens because the horses don't have the right quality or the group is chosen, whatever it is, and sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes a pass happens. Sometimes it's only 1 challenge is defended. Sometimes you have 5 challenges. It just depends on where the dice fall. And in this case, only 1 challenge. So we move on to furlong number 3. This is a stamina furlong. And in the first stamina furlong, I have my screen light up blue to remind me of this. In the first stamina furlong, all closers get a chip. Solid Logic is a closer, he gets a chip. Balanced Blade is a closer, he gets a chip. And Evening Hush is a closer, and he gets a chip. So that's how the closers get chips, because they don't get them at the beginning. So the front group is in play. That's basically second and third place. And the strong, they both have strong, so they both get a shot. Balanced Blade will go first, and he has a chip. He targets the leader, and his dice roll is 6, but he needed a 3. Under the solo rules, Balanced Blade has to use his chip and turn that no into a yes. I have to mentally remember that because I don't want to mess with the programming of the game to do that automatically. So the chip has been spent. This no is now a yes, and bitrate has to defend. He has a fend rating of 4, but rolled a 1, and so yes, no means Balanced Blade failed and spent the only chip he had. So now Solid Logic will shoot for the open spot. He rolled a 5, needed 4 or less. He has a chip. He has to spend the chip to turn this no into a yes, and bitrate will roll again. And again, with a fend of 4, bitrate holds off the challenge, and positions really didn't change at all that turn. We move to the fourth furlong. It's in yellow on my screen to remind me visually this is the next to last furlong of the race, so we're going to be very careful here. Make sure that we know the next one is the last one. It's a stamina thing. It's the second stamina, so the closers don't get anything, and they're looking at the closer style in the back group. The back group has a closer. That's Evening Hush. He will now roll. He's targeting 4 to 6, which is the 6th place horse, Indigo Streak, who had challenged him earlier. He rolled a 1, needed a 4 or less. That's a yes. Now Indigo, we don't want to do that. Indigo Streak now gets to roll. And his fend is 0. And because his fend is 0, every die roll beats him. And because of that, it's a yes, yes, and Evening Hush moves into 6th, pushing Indigo Streak back down into last place where they started the race. And so now we're done with that. That was the only horse that could move. We move to the final furlong. The middle and back groups are the activated groups. For the Reflex Challenge, only one horse has Reflex, and that is Carbon Pulse. And Carbon Pulse happens to have a starred quality, which means they may try for a second challenge if the first challenge fails. If the first challenge succeeds, they get a chip for not using the second challenge. So the starred quality does not mean he gets 2 moves. He gets 2 chances to make 1 move. If he gets it on the first, he gets a chip as a reward for having been successful initially. So Carbon Pulse will roll. He's targeting the 3 horse. That's the 3rd place horse. He's trying to get into the top 3 as we race the final 660 feet, 1 furlong. And this is where, and down the stretch they come is called. And so he's got a dice roll of 4. His ask is 4, or 2. His ask is 4. He's rolled less than or equal to the ask. He's got a yes. Now, Balanced Blade is the horse in the number 3 position. He rolls. He has a fend of 1. He needed to roll a 1. He rolled a 4, so it's a yes, yes, and Carbon Pulse moves into 3rd. And as they cross the line, it's bitrate followed by Solid Logic and Carbon Pulse getting in there at the wire for a 3rd place show finish. And that is how we end the race. Bitrate followed by Solid Logic followed by Carbon Pulse. The only thing that we did not have in this race was a result in the furlongs in which chips were awarded to the horses based on different things that the different qualities called for in the charts. Whenever you have one of those, that's not the end of your furlong. It's just a chip assignment roll. You re-roll to get you can keep re-rolling until you get an actual race result that you actually can challenge. So you can have 2 or 3 in a row where you're awarding chip after chip after chip, That does not advance you on the track. It's just something that's happening, and then you get to advance. So there's always 5 or 6 or however many furlongs, 5 actual action phases. The chip part of that is just an extra, here, have some chips. So that is how you Play at the Races by PLAAY Games. Again, not available in stores. Might be available depending on how things are going in terms of Keith's understanding of the demand and the response to the game. Only he knows that for sure. I can tell you the response I've seen on the PLAAY Games community at Facebook has been, to my knowledge so far, overwhelmingly positive. Even when people have questions, they are not questioning the validity of the game or its usefulness as a game. They're just questioning, am I doing this right? And to me, that's really important. The game works well. It's based on an already existing system called Red, White, and Blue Racing, so the mechanics are already sort of tested, except for how do they work with horses? And how do you do that differently than the laps of a multi-lap, 500 mile race? This works really, really well. I'm very pleased with the game. I'm happy to say that I own it. I have designed some horses for it. They're available on the PLAAY Games community page at Facebook, on Facebook. So if you haven't joined up there, stop by and check out what we're all doing for all the games in the catalog. But this has been a demonstration of Play at the Races. And we thank you, as always, for your time and your attention. And my friend Jeff Ring says life is nice when rolling dice, and he's got it absolutely right. It's a Friday. I got the day off. I've been rolling dice. Life is nice. Happy to share my Friday morning with you all. And until the next time we meet, from those of us at the wide, wide world of tabletop sports, that's me. This is Brian Martin saying thanks for your attention. And until we meet again, so long, everybody.